It's always so funny when no one's watching.
Only a fish.
It's always like so funny waiting for people to join, and those few seconds before we're just like.
I'm out here promoting this delicious muffin.
I made those. Just saying.
The chocolate chunk.
Hey
blueberry
guys.
Muffins.
Yeah, chocolate chunk and blueberry hybrid.
Delicious.
How's everyone doing?
Yo, check it out. This is the most I've ever had a beard. And it's the best feeling of all time, and it's about to be gone tomorrow.
He puts Moroccan oil in it. It smells really nice.
It's my permanent. It's the smell I want for my life now. Like that's the smell I actually want. Shout out to France. I see you.
Yes.
That's the smell I want to smell like when I like am a man. And get older and like
And that's what I want to smell like when I'm a man too.
She gotta make it about her. That's what she did.
Well, if someone said she better not cut her hair. Oh man, I have been seeing like memes about quarantine cutting your hair, and it's a real thing. I don't know why it's a real thing. I like always want to cut my own bangs, and I made Lavelle promise me that if I talk about cutting my hair, he's gonna advise me not to. And not let me cut it. But every time I talk about it, he's like, "You should."
I can't help
That's
it.
not helping.
The support.
That
I think it looked nice.
help.
I don't know.
Peace to Belgium.
Hey.
All right. Well, it's Wednesday. We couldn't wait Wednesdays. We're gonna be
Ramadan Mubarak to everybody who's celebrating Ramadan right now, who's fasting.
Yes. Beautiful.
Take care of your bodies, take care of yourselves. Make sure you're saying those prayers.
Yes.
Enjoy your time. We acknowledge those who do not have this time. And peace and much love to you.
Yes. Well.
It's my new look, guys.
Like John Travolta. John Travolta in Grease, my absolute favorite.
Like
he had
Michael
like
Jackson.
the little hair.
Michael Jackson did the
I guess
little
Michael
jerk curl
Jackson.
down.
I mean, okay, that too. We're gonna talk about the thing that we always talk about.
Acting. And things that are good for our acting.
Yes.
Along with muffins.
It's been another week since we last spoke. And in this week, there have been ups and downs.
Have there?
I mean, for me.
Like what?
Emotional ups and downs.
Name 3.
3 emotional ups and downs? What do you mean? 3?
Like 3 times you went ups and downs. So you had to go up in order to come down.
Okay,
well. Go up, right?
In New York City right now, it's not warm yet, and we live on the 23rd floor, so that means like we don't leave our apartment, so we can go on our balcony, and it's really windy on the balcony, and it's really cold. So it's been raining like quite a bit, kind of like gray and gloomy. And one day I woke up and it was raining, and I was just like not feeling like myself or what I consider myself to be. We were supposed to work out, and I was just like, I don't feel like doing it. I don't feel like doing anything. And I started feeling like really stifled, and I don't know why. It wasn't anything that like coming from Lavelle. It was
I was playing Death Stranding. I was
yeah,
my own business.
He's like really good. Like he's cool, like playing his video games, doing his own thing, and I really like doing my own thing too. Which is why a lot of the times when I'm feeling something, I really like to like deal with it on my own. And through prayer and like just a lot of like meditation, thinking, I realized that I've been feeling stifled like creatively in terms of expression, and I wonder if like other people can relate and feel the same way, because like as an actor, we haven't been like on set or anything like that, and like I didn't realize how cathartic expression is for me and how therapeutic it is for me. And so being in this quarantine, I don't want to like be feeling like sadness and be crying, and I have this idea in my mind that I should just be like happy and positive all the time. So with that, keeping that mindset and trying to keep myself like rigid in feeling that I should be positive, I'm not allowing myself to express the darker parts that I'm feeling, and it really like built up in me. And so I just like danced and sang. Thank you to my vocal coach Stephanie Rooker, who does a live every day at 3 p.m. She does amazing like vocal exercises for expression. So dancing and singing and like put my headphones on. My new favorite thing is going on the balcony and like pretending like I'm like performing for my own concert. But any kind of expression like really, really helped. Journaling, writing, like poetry. Yeah. So that was like a down and then an up again. And I'm acknowledging that there will be more of those, and taking that time to investigate like what's really happening within me, I think is really important. And for everyone who's dealing with stuff, investigate it and get to know yourself through whatever forms of self-healing or healing that you do. Yeah.
I thought of something that I wanted to put into a TikTok that I'm not going to because I don't have TikTok. It was this plate, and on the plate had a brownie, a nice, delicious, sexy chocolate brownie. And on one side you had a scoop of chocolate ice cream, and on the other side you had vanilla ice cream with cookie dough pieces in it. And what I was gonna say was that the chocolate brownie is your depression and your sadness and your state of being where you feel like you're at your lowest part. And the chocolate ice cream is things that are seen as negative habits, things that lead to destructive patterns, like, you know, self-harm, staying in those mental loops of like, you know, I'm not good enough, I'm gonna stay here, and staying down in that kind of mentality and that way of being. And then the vanilla ice cream with the cookie dough pieces is the more positive things, letting yourself speak out and get out of your own head and out of your own mind, but also embracing those moments of needing to need to take a nap or to play video games or do something that isn't like all the way on the left side of destructive, but on a side of my body needs this thing right now. And what I mean by that is, you know, when you eat a chocolate brownie with chocolate ice cream, it's too chocolate, right? It's too much chocolate. So what you're doing is you're like just piling on this piece of chocolate brownie with ice cream, and it's chocolate ice cream. So it's just like too much of this thing that's gonna be keeping you in this state of being like, I'm eating too much chocolate. But if you have this balance of a chocolate brownie with vanilla ice cream and chocolate chip cookie dough in it, now you're like dancing with this balance of like, you know, I give myself this self-care of letting myself be easy on myself and taking this time and this care to do what I need to do, but also allowing myself to let in more light and positivity into my life. That way I don't stay in this brownie state of being. So that was TikTok I thought of when I was meditating. It was pretty nice. But I'm not going to do it on TikTok. I'll give you the jewels right here, right now, son.
But facts about balance. Balance is necessary. Balance is key. Not too much of one thing. It is possible to have too much chocolate. Even though that's a hard pill to swallow, because I love. Someone said you need a haircut.
Who needs a haircut? Who needs a haircut?
I told him to let me give him a lineup.
She dumb? Like, what you think? Hey, listen, I have 2 barbers in my life. All right, one of them's on set. The other one's Amanda from back in the B town. So that's it.
He's like, trust me.
2-3 people touch my hair. That's where we let it die.
Kiana, what if you just go with the flow of your emotions and don't judge or hold any expectations about how you should be feeling? Exactly.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, yeah, no, I totally agree. Trust me, that's like what I'm like reminding myself, because I have the tendency to be so judgmental, and like not only noticing that I judge things when they're bad, but noticing when I judge things when they're good, and getting into the habit of judging things when they're good. It also creates the habit of inevitably judging things when they're bad too. So I'm really working on like letting go of judgment. Like that's been my main thing. Self-judgment and judgment towards circumstance, judgment towards others, like just judgment in general. Like we don't need it.
A friend of mine, shout out to Daniel, I love you so much and I hope you're watching. He gave us this like real quick nugget of like truth in a simple sentence. We were at this like dinner table and someone had asked him something about like current event and what's going on. And he goes, it was something like so trivial and so like not even like you wouldn't even think about it. And he goes, it's not my place to judge. And that's where it lived and died for him. And that was it, beginning and ending. And we were just like, and that you wouldn't like it wasn't a conversation where you wouldn't think that would be a place of judgment. But he said it, and it was like, that is judgment. You know, we judge a lot of things so easily and so quickly, even when it's things that are supposed to be good things, or things that we like, or things that we're fond of. Like, I was saying, it's important to not judge your work, like as an actor, even when you think it's good.
Yeah.
Because that in itself also opens the world to it being judged at all. And you can't, because it's art, you can't judge it. You can only just let it be appreciated from different perspectives.
Someone asked, what do we do to actually work through those moments when we're noticing that we're being judgmental? It's really hard to retrain the mind, they said. And I agree. I think the first thing to do is acknowledge it. Acknowledge that you're like stopping yourself in the midst of it, or even after, even if the moment has passed, you know, being present minded to be like, I'm judging, or, you know, so for me, it manifests my body in not a good way. Like if I feel like I'm thinking in a judgmental way, I actually like don't feel very good after. Like something will linger that's like a little bit uncomfortable. And so I just like to like think and reflect on like moments. And obviously that's not the greatest to do all the time, because you should focus on the present moment. That's but I think just starting with the acknowledgement, just in moments, you know, that will really go a long way.
Kiana and my friend Adrian, who we had on the show, this thing earlier, do this thing that irritates my spirit, but it's actually like probably the most beneficial thing to like self-healing and self-correcting. They will take something back. And I'm from a school of like belief that ain't no take backs, no takesies backsies. But for example, Kiana will say something, even if I don't take it offensively, and it's like I'm from a school of places like we make jokes, you crack on each other, rip on each other. It's nothing. I don't take it beyond that, right? But Kiana's of a mind where if something like is said from a place of like, even as a joke or you know to hurt someone, she'll take it back. And I won't be thinking twice about it, but she'll take it back because she'll say like, I shouldn't be saying something like that to you. It's not, and Adrian does the same thing. Adrian will be like, will say something like, oh man, I hate that the sky's blue today. Actually, no, that's a judgment that I'm putting on the sky. And like, he'll just do that, and I'll be sitting there like, bro, can you just chill? Like it's not a big deal. But it's a practice to get himself out of the way of, out of the mentality of judging things and of not allowing things to be what they are and how they are, but needing it to be something that fits our mental capacity or what we want it to be. So like, that's a way of self-correcting, and it's not like, it might annoy your friends, it annoys the shit out of me, but it's something that can help you do that self-work and actually be beneficial to you. Another thing, like Kiana said, acknowledging it, being truthful about it. If you are feeling those days of self-doubt or self-judgment, acknowledgement is number one, is the most key. Once you, the biggest fear is to label something or say it out loud, because we don't want to be feeling that way. We don't want to be like that person or like those people who do those things and whatever, so and so. But if you just admit it, because if the thing is inside, the thing is inside. If you're thinking the thing and feeling the thing, you're thinking the thing and feeling the thing. It already exists inside of you. So you saying it out loud now puts your ownership on it and takes away that power. Whether it be you feeling sad or doubtful or depressed or angry, whatever, you say it out loud, and now just lets it, it filters through you. It gets you out of your head. It gets it out of, just living on your own and spiraling those thoughts.
These seeds that are planted in your head, if you don't acknowledge them and speak them out loud, they could just grow into things that could have been cut off at the root, because you're sharing them with someone too, and that provides space for support. That as well as speaking them and being like, I acknowledge you, and you're not you don't have power over me anymore. So much. Someone mentioned about self-judgment and how that's a hard thing to escape. Hold I do that, but with complaints. I complain about something.
Stopping the endless cycle.
I know, it's a good word.
That's a good word. Stopping the endless cycle
of wanting more. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a practice.
It's a practice, and I feel like I think that's the important thing, to acknowledge and know that it's a practice.
Yes.
And practice means that you got to do it over and over again. That you're not gonna. It's not something that's warrants a result. I'm gonna make a muffin, and by the end of it all, a muffin's made. Mm-hmm. That's not what self-work is. It's something that's ongoing, that's continuous. Your life doesn't end until you die. So, you know what I mean? So you're going to be able to work on that and have the opportunity to work on that long into your great old days. Mm-hmm. So whenever you feel like you faltered or gone back or did something that is like of the old you and you're not there anymore, instead of placing that judgment on yourself, be like, no, I'm actually like, that's okay, I did that thing. But the only thing I can do now is continue to move forward and continue to look at, like, okay, what can I do now? What can I do now? I can't do nothing about what I just did. Mm-hmm. Can't do nothing about the batch of muffins I made that were terrible. Mm-hmm. All I can do is make new muffins.
Yeah. You can only go from where you are right now. A lot of people are asking if we're Muslim. No. We're not Muslim, we're Christian. But someone also said you respect all religions, and 100%. We respect all religions. All love.
Will Smith says something, I'm quoting everybody today, that he's a student of all religions. And I said that a while ago. But I think it's important to, if you can't master and learn everything about every single religion on the planet, just being aware and being mindful of them and learning a bit about them, educating yourself a little bit about them, can open you up and open up your empathetic capacity and your understanding. Mm-hmm. And how many similarities there are, the through lines of all these religions that are here, that are the aspects of so many similarities, like not eating pork and all these kind of different things. Just a small little nuggets of like, everybody agrees on this one thing here and one thing, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful way to acknowledge unity and how we're all very similar, despite what you would think would be obvious differences. There's so many similarities as well.
The actual factuals.
Yeah. Okay, wait.
Say hi to Frederica.
Frederica? Hi, Frederica. Frederica?
I think it's Frederica.
Okay, so we realized last week that hi, Courtney. Hi, Courtney.
There you go.
Very high. Oh, thank you for Love Conqueror 21 for saying that you like our lives.
Oh, thank you.
We really love them too.
Shout out to Brazil, love to Canada.
Yes,
all day,
Trinkets is season 2, God willing, I think July this summer, but we'll have a date soon. Hello to Saudi Arabia.
AAA.
Hi Paige. Say my name. Neema.
Hey, 99.
Latvia. Wow, I never think I saw Latvia before, like in this. You're doing a great job at answering everyone. Thanks for the attention. The effort is not so. Aww. Honestly, it's a whole thing that we're experiencing, finding a balance between. Oh my gosh, trinkets.
Don't worry about the trinkets. We're gonna get it covered. Don't worry.
Yes, we're gonna address all these questions after too. But yeah, it's interesting finding a balance between addressing you guys and also talking about things that we care about talking about. One thing that I want to talk about is you mentioned it quickly about making the muffins and how self-work is not result-oriented. And I've been thinking a lot about how as actors, if not all, like I'd say 95% of our careers thus far have been result-oriented. You know, we take acting classes because we want to get auditions, because we want to book a role, or because we want to get an agent so that an agent can get us auditions so we can book a role. We want to be a part of this project so hopefully we can get recognition from it and either lead us to the next project or potentially win an award from it. It's so result-oriented. And now in this quarantine with things like very slowed down, it's interesting. I wanted to see your thoughts of it. We talked about this before, but your insight was very inspirational. When we were talking about if there was no result at the end, like if there was nothing to attain, would you still act?
I was gonna ask you this.
Yeah. Oh, you were?
Yeah. So cheap.
Okay, we can talk about that. Okay. So if there's no audition, are you still going to pick up a script and act? And are you doing it because you're thinking eventually I will get an audition? So there's still that result-oriented way of thinking, or will you just act because it brings you joy and you want to express? it's such a weird thing. I've never had to think about it this way because it's always been like for the potential of booking a role. So
you're for getting better at your craft.
Getting better at your craft, and like there's like a certain like vanity in it. Vanity and self-expression is like a whole other thing I was thinking about, which may be for a different time. But yes. So if there was no result, would you still act?
I think it's a harder. That's oh man. Okay, so if the bare bones answer, the truthful answer is no.
Okay.
The answer that is everything's not black and white is probably. And I mean to say that, like, okay, for example, if we're in if you're saying like that we've taken away the industry of acting, the acting is like not like obsolete, non-existent. No one's making scripts anymore. No one's writing. No one's making anything to make a movie anymore. We're not watching movies on television anymore. We're not there. No more streaming services. All that kind of stuff. Would I still act and do monologues and like little plays in my room or something like that? No. Would I, if like acting wasn't around, but we still had the things like old movies and old scripts to use, and you can still write? Yes. For example, like if like the industry didn't exist, but you can still make your own stuff, like pick up a camera, shoot a scene, whatever, do that. Yes. Because I feel like when I do something, like when I write something, or when I like want to write a scene, or when I want to do a monologue, the potentiality of doing it or making it into a movie or a short or something like that is what drives me. Is like when I'm seeing it, when I'm writing something, I'm seeing it play out, or I'm seeing it like this shot and like outside, and I get to capture this city. And
you envision it as like a film, or
exactly.
Yeah.
And so the prospect of it not being able to get made dulls the senses for me, and dulls the excitement to want to actually put this out there. But acting, just act like just like it's weird, like. Because then I'm like, okay, like I also believe that acting is a living practice. It's a lifestyle, right? So then like, if just because I'm not getting up and reading a scene and reading a script doesn't mean I'm not acting to me. To me, you know what I mean? So that's why I'm like, but what? But
do you think that acting as a lifestyle mentality is something that you developed because you like to think that living an acting lifestyle is going to help your acting when you can put it into your work?
Yeah.
So without this like end result, do you still think living is an acting lifestyle?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's an artistic lifestyle. You're living as an artist. It's like if I were to draw something or paint something, it's still, to me, like it's an artist lifestyle, I should say, not an acting lifestyle. So like, just because I'm not physically picking up a script and reading lines and like, you know, running this scene with you, doesn't mean that I'm not actively working on my like craft. Does that make sense? Or I'm not acting to be a better actor, because we have interactions all the time. We do scenes together. If they're not written all the time, we think about scenarios and we play out mentally scenarios and like, oh, what if this happened? Oh, I would do like that, and you know what I mean? Or like we just make up characters out of nowhere, out of the blue, spontaneously. Yeah. So that to me is also still acting. If someone put a camera on us, boom, now it's you know what I mean? Now it's like what quantifies what acting is? Does there need to be a script? Does there need to be a camera? Does there need to be a stage in order for it to be acting? Or could it be like you and I did a scene no one's ever gonna see or hear? Does that not mean, it's kind of like if a tree fell in the forest, does it still make a sound? I believe it still does make a sound.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
so
still,
if no one saw it and it never gets made out in the real world, but it's just in the confines of our house.
Yeah.
Does that mean it's real or not? You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
That's why I think like it goes beyond just thinking about. I don't think like just acting is just picking up a script and reading and breaking it down and doing that. I think that's one part of it. I think that's a more a little more like, now I'm putting my focus into, that's like painting on canvas versus painting on a wall or drawing something in a book, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a long-winded form.
So you would. Yeah.
What about you? Yeah.
Yes, I would. See, the thing that I love about acting, though, okay, one thing I'll say is like thinking of acting as a lifestyle is one thing, which in this quarantine up until this week, I'd say I was cool with. I was like, you know what, we're connecting. I feel like, you know, I'm still like, I'm living an acting lifestyle until you're quarantined with someone and you need to just fucking cry. Mm-hmm. You need to just get mad. And you need to just like feel the things that a script allows you the grounds and permission to feel. And a set provides you with a safe space to feel. And like living with you, I know that I'm learning that I have the space to do that. But it's also kind of weird because it's like, I don't feel like I necessarily, Kiana, am so angry that I want to just like, you know, like yell and scream and cry and feel all these things deep inside. But I know that I do want to express that. Mm-hmm. And it's not because there's something wrong with my life necessarily. It's just because I feel this and I don't know why, but I want to express it. So acting just provides that like environment where you can do that and not have to explain to your partner like that I'm not actually mad, I just need to do this.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, even though you get it because you're an actor too, but like it's giving, I don't know, it's hard, you know, like it's really hard. Mm-hmm. Someone said something big. Kiana, if you could pick up The Winner Stands Alone by the guy who wrote The Alchemist, and tell me what you think. It's about the World Actors movies. Are you serious? Oh my gosh. I will 100% check that out. Thank you. But yeah, like there's something like very therapeutic about it for me, and like I know that I can do that. Like to me, like acting as a lifestyle is all fun and dandy when I'm feeling like, oh, I'm connecting and like how I enjoy our relationship to be like full of love and compassion and listening and understanding those things. But then once in a while, I feel something inside that I'm like, I don't want to put this into our relationship, but I need to get it out. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't want to take this on as like I'm having a problem right now, but I need to get it out, and I don't want to overthink that something's like wrong with me. I just need to like express.
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? So in that case, I love. Also, not every actor is a writer. So like, not every actor when they want to act is gonna write their own thing and put something on. You know?
I don't believe that.
What? You think every actor is a writer?
I think a writer is a person that is actively practicing the career of writing, right?
Yeah.
But like just because if you can pick up a script and read it, you can write one. Doesn't mean it's going to be a great script.
Yeah.
But if all you want to do is say the things and express the things you want to express, you can do that.
I guess.
You know what I'm saying? Like you just write down, I want to say these words and I want to just let it be out. Like
I
just
guess.
let it be word vomit. You can let it be
even
word vomit.
if you don't write it and you just like improv and do something.
Who said it needs to be a professional writer and have like a Writers Guild award or something? You know what I mean? I don't have to have all that in order to write something.
That's when the result-oriented way of thinking comes in for me, because I'm like, I'm not a writer, like there's an aspect of like who's gonna see this and like judge my thing as opposed to just doing it for me. Someone mentioned self enjoyment, and like what about self enjoyment, and like 100%, like yeah.
I feel like also it's like there's an element of self-discovery that's exciting, and self-investigation. I think that's when you remove the vanity from it, when you're just going to do this thing because you want to investigate something inside of you. And I think that's what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. You know, but again, do you mean like
practicing your emotions through acting
that you are missing, or things that you are
truly feeling?
I think it's things that you are truly feeling.
Yeah, someone said, but shouldn't a script have a sort of message? For sure, especially a message when now you're putting your script out for people. Like, of course you want it to have a message, but sometimes if it's just for you, you don't need to even think about like the message. You just need to express.
I think things always have, every project that ever came out in the history of the world, whether it be a play or a film or a TV show, has always had a message. And that's controversial because there's some bullshit TV out there. But if you think about it from perspective of a writer, I wrote this because I wanted to see this thing, or I wanted to say this thing, right? I wanted to see something out there. Whether it be like, I'm tired of being driven by dramas. I want to see something funny and just like that means nothing, that like just goes nowhere, but like it's just a thing. That's still a message to them. Because sometimes they want just that positivity. Sometimes I want to explore this dark thing that I'm thinking about, and I want to see it. That's a message to me, right? So it's all about what the message means to whoever made it. It doesn't have to be like this message. It needs to be this global thing that everyone needs to talk about. It could also be something that's specific for the individual.
How do you act a part or feeling that you can't relate to? It's a good question. The first thing that came to mind when I read that was the reason why I wanted to act as a kid in its imagination. I think that like using your don't discredit your imagination, you know? And I feel like as we get older, we're so careful with things, and like especially in the world that we live in, like in a beautiful way too, we don't want to offend. So like if you are now playing a character that you can't relate to and like you haven't lived their circumstances, you don't want to offend someone who like maybe has that personal story, which is of course so respectable, but I think you also have to acknowledge that the reason why God made you an artist is because of your beautiful imagination, and you can run free with that. Maybe you want some research behind it and you want to talk to maybe people who can relate and have gone through that, but don't discredit your imagination, because no one's imagination is like yours. So like with using your imagination, you can make choices that no one else is gonna make, and you don't have to explain it to anyone. You know, no one really knows if you relate to it or if you've experienced it or not.
And it's nobody's business.
It's nobody's business. You just can just run with it, you know? Like you follow your instincts and your impulses and like brainstorm, however you want to do it, write things down, do research if you want, but to me, the most fun are things that I can't necessarily relate to because it's challenging.
But I feel like, and this is something that one of my like mentors imparted to us in this class, that every feeling at its core is universal. So there's a certain thing that moves us, right? And if we get to the deepest part of the bottom of the well of this emotion, it's a universal thing. It's on the universal spectrum. So yes, there may be an experience that you haven't gone through, or an emotion you can't relate to because you've never seen it or you've never experienced it yourself. But there are going to be some things, because as children, we've experienced every kind of spectrum of emotion. We need, look, as a child, you need milk or you need food. And you cry about it because you have no other way of expressing it. And we, as an adult, don't know what the hell the baby's crying about. So we try everything, and we give it everything to try to satiate this baby. But at its core, this baby's just crying because it's hungry. But it looks like sadness. It looks like it's crying because it could be joy. It's crying because, you know what I mean? It's crying because it's feeling this pain from wherever. You know what I mean? So at the core, there's always going to be this core, universal relatability to what this person's going through, or what this character's going through, or so on and so forth. So I feel like you can relate on that if you just sit with it a little bit longer, let it sit with you, let it resonate with you deeper and deeper and deeper when you think about it more, when you speak on it more. Because there are so many projects that I've like gone out for, auditioned for, that I'm like, I don't know this experience at all. But I do know what it's like to so-and-so. I do know what it's like to go through heartbreak. I do know what it's like to go through, whatever. I do know what it's like to be disappointed. So what does being disappointed mean to me?
Yeah.
What is being angry at a video game, livid at a video, you know what I mean? How does that translate through a competitive perspective? How does it translate through, I know I lost my dog and I'm trying to, get my revenge on these gangsters who killed my dog. Like, you know what I mean? There's some kind of universality to it. If you just let it sit deeper in you. So that's what I got.
Just because you haven't felt that situation doesn't mean you can't manifest that emotion. Fact.
Actual.
Emotions, like Lavelle said, at its core are universal. Feelings at its core are universal. So you can take that feeling and put it into any situation, really. But the feeling is what is relatable, and it's what people can relate to.
I got a question for you.
Yes.
On Trinket Season 2.
Yes.
What was your favorite memory?
On-set or off-set?
On-set?
On-set?
On-set.
On-set.
You gotta boil it down to one. Sorry.
Okay. Well, it's hard to answer this without giving away any scenes.
So you gotta filter it.
Okay. My favorite memory. Okay. Well, there's one scene where Quintessa, Brianna, and I'll tell you guys, like, when it comes out, I'll tell you with the scene, but we filmed it at nighttime. It was like 3 a.m. and it was an exterior scene and it was raining. But our job was so easy in that scene. It was literally to just, I don't want to say what it is.
I remember this story.
Because it might be like a little spoiler.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
It was like just an act like a child would do, like an act of playing.
Yes.
And it was like, and there was a moment where Brianna like looked at us and was like, this is our job. Like, as much as like you can get into a routine, anyone can get in a routine of being like, it's 3 a.m, it's cold, it's raining, like this and that. In that moment, we all just like took a deep breath and were like, wow. Like Lavelle says, no place I'd rather be. That was that was early on in the stages of filming season 2. And also going into season 2, knowing that it is our second and final season, every single day we came to set and we were just like appreciative because we knew that it was like a countdown to the end, which is crazy.
Was there any sadness in that countdown to the end?
Yeah, there was some sadness, of course, but like Brandon and Odysseus, like the three of us, like they would always shout out like family. We would always like hype each other up, like and Brandon was like so famous for doing this, being like, guys, think about it. In a couple of months, you're going to be in Toronto, you're going to be in New York, I'm going to be in LA, we're going to be thinking back to these days. So like he would always like say things like that would just ground us in the moment and like really gave us no choice but to be like, wow, I need to appreciate this right now. Like Brandon was like the best for doing that.
Yep. Shout out to Brandon Butler.
There was sadness though, of course, like, you know, I always get sad when things come to an end, but like I'm glad that they told us that it's the second and final season. Mm-hmm. And like, I know some people are commenting that they don't want it to be the final season, but you have to understand that Trinkets is based off of one book. So even stretching it out 2 seasons is like, you know, very fulfilling. And I think you guys will be really, really happy with the way that season 2 goes. So.
Oh yeah, I was there for something. I got to see it.
And the way Netflix is so savage, not even renewing shows for a second season, I'm just really glad we got a second season.
Factual.
I got this from Free People. People were asking. It's like a shirt dress. I love Free People. It's very expensive though for sometimes the places it's made.
You're kind of talking smack.
Well, I'm just spitting facts.
I got these PJs from Target.
Target, yeah. They're
the comfiest PJs I've ever had in my life.
Yes.
All right, you want to ask me a question?
Yes. Okay.
I won't look.
Okay. What does your prep look like to you? Like, you don't have to give us like all your little secrets of like what makes your work magical, but when let's talk audition purposes, not like when you book a role. Audition purposes, you got sent a self-tape. What does your prep look like?
Love you, Nikane. I see you, baby.
Hi, Nikane. Love you.
My prep. When I go into an audition, I like to give myself time to. It all depends. If it's in the room, I want to get there early so I can acclimate myself to that environment. But when it comes to like preparing for an audition, the first thing I do is like, if I have the script, I'll read the script and then see how like what this character is going through when it comes to the scenes. What are the moments that happen before leading up to this moment? What are the moments that are, leading up to the second scene, the third scene, whatever, so and so. So I know, like, I write it down what's like happening right before it, just so I can like, okay, this is my lead-in, this is what I know now at this point in the story, so on and so forth. It really helps when I have the script. If I don't have the script, I kind of make assumptions, like, okay, well, this person's going through this thing because X, Y, Z, repetition. I heard this thing where like Anthony Hopkins reads like his scripts like 250 times, something like that. So I was like,
the whole script?
Yeah. So I was like, all right,
takes a long time.
I'll do that. So I just like, I don't do it that many times. I do 25 and just kind of like repeat it, read it through, just like dry, not to make any like inflections or marry into my body the way I'm gonna say this line. But that's tough sometimes. Sometimes I get locked in. I'm like, I know how this line's supposed to sound musically. So like, I know that I want to hit this kind of inflection or this way of saying it every time, but I try to get out of that to, in order to be, like, again, malleable. So for me, malleability is number one most important thing to me as an artist. Being able to be adaptable and flexible.
Through breathing?
Through breathing. I make sure I'm breathing all the time as I'm reading my lines.
Which sounds very simple, but you'd be surprised how often you can hold your breath in real life, and especially when you're, like, now on camera.
Yep. And what will happen is, because you've read it so many times and you didn't breathe at that moment or this particular line, when you go to do it, you'll either forget it or you'll not breathe at that moment. Like, you'll just marry that pattern into your body. My class, we would just, like, call each other for an hour a day and run the lines together, straight, cold, nothing on the lines. What's that called?
In Italian? Oh, that's been
not Italian. But we would do it Italian eventually, but we mostly get it to, like, just cold, like,
not putting anything on it.
Don't put anything on it. Just read it dry, say it monotone. So that way, on the day when you actually do the scene in class, you're now working out through the emotions and through what your partner's giving you, and not so much what I just try to prepare reading this line. It's so much easier to practice it that way with someone like Kiana reading with me. But a lot of time you go to the audition room and you're getting a person who's reading it off the page with you, and it's just job to read it with you every day, all day. That's, you know what I mean? So that practice of having it cold and being able to just adjust is really good when you're prepping at home. So again, like I said, I read the script 25 times, or read each scene 25 times. I worry about forgetting my lines every time I'm reading a script, or reading an audition.
Masad said, "Are you guys ever nervous when acting or forget your lines?"
I all the time. But that's what reading it a lot of times gets into me, because now it's more like it's like a dance. My brother's a dancer, and I noticed that, like, he's able to pick up choreo really easily and really well because he does it enough to get it in his body, to get it in the rhythm. So now it's like when you're reading a line for just a little bit, for me, it goes here, right? And then, but I read it more and more, it starts to go down a little bit more and more and more.
You sleep on it.
And you sleep on it, and now it's down here. But now I still got to get it past my legs. So, you know what I mean?
When you exercise, you're saying it, pretty much prepare. Like, if you feel prepared, like, if you feel like you put in the work and you know these lines, then you're less likely to forget and you're less likely to be nervous.
When I was younger, I used to do this thing because I wanted the lines to seem discovered. And feel discovered with me. So I would learn my lines to bare minimum. And there would be an inkling of fear getting on stage or getting in front of the camera that what if I don't know my line, or what if so and so and so and so, and I wouldn't feel confident in my choices, but I didn't know that's what was going on. I just felt nervous and didn't know why. So I just thought, like, whatever, I'm just gonna go do it. So I would go do it and have these moments of discovery. Thank God I didn't forget any of my lines. But I would have these moments of, like, discovery, but they're not discovery. It's just me remembering the line again. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I thought I had to do it in order to fake this, like discovery in the moment.
Being in the moment,
Being in the moment, right? But you can be in the moment and be spontaneous when you have your tool ready. Does that make sense? A swordsman, for example, knows his sword like it's an extension of his body because he's trained so much with that sword. So I look at my lines like that. If I'm able to absorb them, now they become a part of me, so I can literally do anything. Put a blindfold on my head and tie this as I'm saying my line.
We should try that and see if you put your money where your mouth is.
Oh, I can do it. And I'm really good at rapid fire.
Oh yeah.
But I haven't practiced that in a long time. So
Peach.blu says, I know extras are just background, but I hope through doing what I love one day I can be an actress. Even if that's not the end game, I'd be an extra forever. Wow, I have, like, so much respect for background. In Canada, we call it background. I think in the States, it's mostly just extras. But actually, like, in Trinkets, season 2 was more than season 1. Like, there's, like, so many people. Shout out Keanu, Alex Damien, Gabby, Alex Robu. Like, I'm sorry if I forgot anyone, but don't kill me. But they're, like, actually our family. And their backgrounds, and they're amazing, and they could all be stars, like superstars. And so pretty much, like, background is an amazing way to start, and it's also an amazing way to even see if you like being on set.
I did background.
I thought about it. I even thought about it now. I feel like I'd be the most extra background performer, like just like not blending in at all. Oh, also, respect for background, because you know how hard it is to look at each other and not actually be verbalizing and to not feel awkward, because I tried it. Oh, and there's also a trick. Apparently, if you mouth watermelon over and over, it actually looks like you're talking. I don't know. That's a thing. But let's see. Someone else said something.
Hold on.
Yes.
I want to address that background. Let me tell you something. If you're doing background, you can do anything. I say that because background is treated like garbage on set. If you think that you show up as with a one-liner and like don't nobody care about you,
Yeah.
imagine being BG. You get the scraps. You don't get the scraps. I'm sorry, but you get like you'll be sitting in the same space with the main actors, and the main actors got to get all the food, and then you're called up to get the second. Like that's it's just a weird, shitty feeling.
Oh yeah.
So you can do all that, be talked to all types of ways, be rounded up like cattle, all that kind of stuff, and you still love it, and you still want to be like on the other side of that. Then you can do anything, and I mean that you can get through any. Cause like, bro, like. When I say you're treated like garbage sometimes, like as a background actor, like you're like, why do I ever want to be here? You know
Yeah,
what I
but
mean?
not on my set.
But if you're, get out here.
No.
I'm talking about, because like I said, I've done BG, right? I did it as a means to make money, because it's some good money, you know. And you're there the whole day, and between the time where you're not being used, you can work on other things. That's what I was doing, and like. The way the way they talk to you, like you're a grown person sometimes. They be talking to you kind of ways, like you're not like the same age as them, or you're not like older than them at some points. And like, I don't know about y'all, but I don't take that shit. It's tough.
I just need to say that like this goes to every single leading actor ever on a set. You know how they talk to you as a leading actor or as a principal actor, and you know the power that you have on a set. And you have the ability to not let that shit fly for background.
Absolutely.
Like, you really have the ability to say to an AD, like, don't talk to the background like that. Like, that's not how I want the vibe on set to be. As a leading actor, you have a huge influence on the vibe on set. And that does not fly with me. And I don't understand why celebrities, like, I'm not even like a celebrity. And I feel no ways getting like the steak that the background can't have, getting extras on my plate and giving it to them because they're hungry, and we have an unlimited amount of food as lead actors,
and
so like share with them. And yeah, pretty much it is our responsibility as lead actors to speak up for people, for everybody on set, because it should be a very nurturing and an environment where everybody can thrive, because background artists are artists. So any leading actor, and I'll be the first to even tell my co-stars, even though I've worked with amazing co-stars who we're all in this together, that shit is not cool, and it needs to stop, and it stops with us who are privileged to be in those positions to speak up and say something.
Factual.
Yes.
Because if you think as the lead actor that you've been cold and that you're like outside in the freezing cold,
you know you haven't.
The BG is still outside when you get to go in that warm-up van.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So shout out to the BG. All right, they do work.
Yes.
And
Yes.
We're almost done. I got
10 minutes left.
I got some more questions.
Okay, wait. Let's go through these questions first, just to see. Do you ever forget lines? We talked about that. What do you think about acting?
Forgetting lines on set is a whole different bop. I don't want to tell you to be lazy or anything like that, but like people forget lines on set, and it's okay.
Yeah.
Just like, make sure you know the lines, and if you forget your lines, it's in a moment. It's not like I don't know my lines at all. I'm not prepared.
Do you feel like you are present with yourself, or do you feel like you're constantly working toward that future? Great question. I mean, I think that like as a human being, it's quite impossible to be present. Such a loaded question, because even working towards that future, okay, the reality is right now, physically you are always present. So it's more like mentally, do you feel present? And there are a lot of times where like I'm not mentally present completely because I'm like focused on the past or I'm thinking about the future. And I don't think that that's a bad thing. Like Lavelle mentioned before, balance. You know, as human beings, we're gonna drive ourselves crazy if we're consistently like, I need to only be thinking about what's happening right now. I think that it's healthy to think about the past and the future, but most importantly, having that balance. You know,
I feel like it's important to check in with yourself.
Yeah.
Because you can be too present, and what I mean by that is, if you're aware of what's going on all the time, every time within yourself, every single thought you're having, every single feeling, every single muscle, twitch, movement, itch, ache,
it's a lot.
You're gonna drive yourself crazy. I have. Because I'll be like, oh man, like I feel like my pancreas is like, you know what I mean? Like
that sudden pain.
You're like, why do I have that pain? Am I getting older? Oh my God, no. What have I been eating? Am I eating too much of that? So and so. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's important to be like, also chill out. Trust that you're doing the right things that you like to get to where you want to be. Whatever it is, if you're trying to be healthier, but like you're worried about every ache and break and this and that.
It's counterproductive.
You're also, messing yourself up mentally. Trust that you've been eating the right things, working out, exercising, so and so.
Trust. Someone said, yeah, that constant self-talk gives me anxiety. For sure, same.
Yeah.
And I have to say it once again, like, all of this stuff that we're talking about is very hard to do on your own. So for me personally, I always pray because I believe that God has his hand on everything, and I can accomplish things personally with asking God for guidance and strength in ways that have changed my life so much. Like, I could really try to do all of this on my own and fight anxiety and be present and do all these things. But eventually I get to a point where I'm like, I can't do this on my own. So I pray, I try not to let it get to that point, but I try to remember to do this throughout, as opposed to reaching a wall and then turning to God. I try to do it as it's happening, but I just pray and ask God, please give me the strength and the guidance and the presence of mind to experience what I'm experiencing so that it uplifts me and I learn about myself. And I know that I know that I can't do this on my own. So please, God, have a hand on me and guide me. And really believing that once I pray for it, God is taking care of it. It's like a help in a way that I've never experienced on my own. So I really recommend that for anyone, It really, really helps me.
There's so much scripture on it, but you can literally go to God about anything. Mm-hmm. And I mean anything. Yeah. Oh man, I broke my nail. God, can you make sure that the nail grows back properly? You know what I mean? Stuff like that. That is another part of that self-judgment, to tell yourself that God don't care about my little problems. God cares about you. Mm-hmm. So to be able to sit there in that confidence and give all your worries, all your anxieties, all your doubts and your fears and your impatientness and all the things you want to develop, give it straight to God. Mm-hmm. God has his hand on all of it. Take your burdens, take them to the Lord, and leave it there. Yes. Leave it there is important though. Yeah. Because it's also, you got to trust that now it's going to be taken care of. Mm-hmm. Guys, I want to talk about, before we get to everybody else on live, you got 7 minutes left. I want to talk about faith. Mm-hmm. I want to talk about faith in the I'm not trying to give you all a sermon here, but as artists, inherently we have faith. Doesn't mean that it's specific to one denomination or whatever, but there's a faith in that when you're creating something, that you are in essence borrowing the energy of creation, that you're mimicking, that you're mirroring what God created you. Mm-hmm. If that makes sense. Whenever we get up to act, whenever we get up to tell a story, whenever we get up to paint, whenever we get up to sing, whenever we make music, there is the Holy Spirit is moving through you. It's up to you if you want to be a channel for that or not, a vessel for that or not, which means that whenever you want to create content that is meaningful, that has a message, like one of you guys were saying earlier, that message might not always be what you're trying to put out mentally. it could be something that God is sending through you. And in order to be a vessel and be open and to remove our ego from that, that's part of the acting work. Which is why I say acting is also like, you know, an active practice all the time, a lifestyle. So it's important. So just remember that, like, whenever you're thinking about, like, why would God care about me wanting to do acting stuff, and why would God care that I want to paint this thing, or why would God care, God cares because you care. And the things that are your secret, quietest, most inspirational, life-changing, beautiful dreams are something that God placed inside of you a long time ago. So trust and believe that God wants you to succeed in that thing. But it's also important that you got to give your dreams and your hopes and your goals back to God. Let Him take the reins and guide you to where you want to go.
Amen.
Muffin time. All right, let's get somebody on.
Okay, wait. It's okay. We're gonna disconnect and then come right back because it's gonna cut off. Don't you think? Okay, bye. On. Thank you. So nice. I like when he says words. Did it go? Oh, unable. Okay. Hey!
What up?
Hello!
Wow, Millie.
Hey, how are you?
I am good. I don't know speaking.
Don't speak English? What country?
So bad.
Where are you from?
Argentina.
Oh! Beautiful. We need to learn these languages.
¿Cómo estás?
¿Cómo estás?
Muy bien. Good.
Muy bien.
I love you.
Say te amo.
Te amo, te amo.
I love you.
No.
Okay, cool.
So cute. Well, gracias mucho.
How do you say muffin? It's gone.
Where are you going? Where are you going? Okay, like we really need to learn these languages. Wait, thank you.
I love you
I love you too.
so much.
I love you too. Thank you. Gracias.
Okay.
Ciao. Te amo.
Ciao. Okay, cute. Wait, it's gonna be 2 minutes. Okay. Well, I suppose that it's time to go.
About to be an hour. So
Yeah.
we'll wrap this
But
up.
Wednesdays come quick, and we love you guys so much. Yes, we gotta learn all the language. I gotta learn Portuguese. I'm Portuguese, and I don't even speak it. But I will learn that.
Oh, wait a minute. I mean, I'm sure that Kiana got a bunch of fans on here, so everybody who loves her. This girl is a mixed breed child, you know.
They know.
Portuguese, black, and what is this? Irish?
How come there's so many here?
And Nova Scotian black, too. Like the early,
Oh, there's so many.
Oh, gosh.
It's gonna cut off.
Gosh, I never work this out, man.
Okay. We could just like stop it and then go again.
Lock it up!
Yeah! People, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm so good. I love your lives.
Thank you.
Oh my
Okay,
gosh,
like-
I'm so happy. I was like, I hope they pick me.
Yeah, except it's gonna cut off in like
A minute.
Okay. I have a really quick question for you guys because
Yes.
I hopped in late. So I wanted to know, do you guys have a daily prayer practice? And if you do, can you share it with us?
Have a daily prayer practice?
Yeah.
Yeah, I use the app called Bible. I'll post it on my page too. It's a Bible app, and I just do
I've heard
plans.
that one.
Yeah, I do plans on it, and like they're all so amazing. There's so many about like security and just like so usually when I wake up, we also have this like printout of like scriptures to read every day.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
My grandfather passed away last year, and it was from his Bible. He was doing it, so
Wow.
I got it from him, and I was like, we were just going through it, like marking off the days and what to read and whatnot.
Yeah.
Um,
But like mostly I like to like when I wake up, pray and give thanks, and like the first thing to do to start the day, and always the last thing I do like before I go to sleep. And I think that's a good way to like start and end the days, especially like you wouldn't think like in the beginning of the day, right? As kids, like normally we're taught to do it at night. But and also I don't really like say specific prayers. I mostly just like talk to God like I'm just talking to anyone, which I find has really like changed my relationship with God. Yeah.
I love that. I totally relate to that. I feel like, normalizing that relationship with God as if he really is an entity that you can turn to all the time is so important. And I feel like that's why a lot of people don't turn to him, because it's almost like we think we need a special occasion or something like that. So I totally hear you. By the way, Lavelle, when you said that acting is an active practice, big.
Yup.
That's huge. That's huge. I've never thought about it that way. And that was like an aha moment for me. So, yeah.
Well, let me just give you your props, Miss Book Lady.
I know. Oh my
Congratulations
gosh.
to you.
Second book, right?
Your second book.
That's
Where-
amazing.
Where can we get it? I'm gonna get this bad boy read.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So my book comes out in 2020. I'm really hype about it.
In 2020, like this year?
Sorry, 2021. Sorry.
Okay.
2021. It'll probably be May, spring of 2021. It'll be in chapters. It'll be in Barnes and Noble. It'll be on Amazon and all that stuff. So.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm
Yeah.
so excited.
Someone said your hair is gorgeous. Your
hair looks
really
beautiful.
Your hair is
Oh, thanks. I just had to do a video. That's why I'm all done.
Oh, you know.
Hop on there live.
Perfect for the live.
I have a question for you.
What'd
Before
you
you
go?
go. I have a question for you before you go.
Please, go ahead.
The practice of writing a book, like actually sitting down and writing one, like what was that like?
Hard. And it took someone really like my boyfriend at the time really reaming into me about what it is that I want in life for me to start taking it seriously. Because when I first started, my writing was very like sporadic. It was very hard to focus. But I kind of just got a lecture that was like, what is it that you want? Do you really want to be an author? Or is this just something cute to say? And like taking responsibility for my work habits and realizing that like my discipline didn't match what I was saying I wanted. And also like that creativity is a discipline, that it's not just something that's going to like come to you one day, maybe for some people. But learning that for me, it really took like sitting down and writing even when I didn't have like a creative idea sitting in my head.
Wow, yeah.
So that was and then that motivated by like wanting it to, the whole reason I wrote it was because I wanted it to be adapted into film, which was my whole purpose, coming back to like acting. And just really like focusing on my goal and realizing like, is this what I actually want, or am I just being like, yeah, I'm writing a book, like, so yeah, it was tough, but it changed me as a person in terms of like realizing that discipline is something that we all can have. You just have to work towards it.
Yeah, I can imagine like how fulfilling that felt when you completed it.
Yeah.
That's
It's definitely an ongoing process. Like it's not, I feel like a book is never done because you're always going back and forth with an editor, but it definitely like, it really did change me. I feel like, as an actor, you can get used to just like, sitting around waiting on an audition, like watching, just being chill, which is great. But it challenged me to like strengthen myself as an artist and know that like, I have the tools to be disciplined. If I choose to do something, I can do it, So, yeah.
That's an actual fact.
Yeah. That's so inspiring to me right now, too, because, like, I've just, like, started writing just, like, a script, and I'm experiencing the same thing. Like, if I don't feel inspired, then it's hard for me to actually sit down. If I'm not sitting there and, like, something pops into my head that I envision, then it's hard for me to actually get to writing.
Absolutely.
So just like you're saying, like practicing the discipline of like writing, even when you don't necessarily feel inspired in that moment, like actually going to do it. Yeah.
When I tell you, like, that's been my biggest thing. And it's so funny because, like, it never goes away. Like, I'm working on my second book and it's like the same thing all over again. You'd think I'd be like, da 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 da. Like, I've been trying to like write the second book since like September, and I'm like just now getting in the groove of it.
Yeah.
But it always comes back to like challenging myself, you know, and really saying like, Asha, you know what? Like, you don't feel like writing today. You have no ideas. You don't know what to write, but just write anyway. And I often find that like, and you'll probably find this too with writing your script, that when you look back, it's never as bad as like you think it is.
Yep.
Right?
As long as you get it down. You
Yeah,
get
you just have to
down.
get it down. Just have a structure, have a foundation, and like when you go back, then that's when it's like, okay, let's make it perfect. But you just need the foundation first, and it's the hardest part, you know?
Right. Wow. I'm so inspired.
Well, those are my notes.
I'm so inspired by you guys. I love you guys so much. I'm
We
like,
love
We
you
love
so
you
much,
too.
Asha.
you guys are amazing. I just love that you guys are so faith-based and that you bring God into everything that you do. It's so inspiring. For me, that's like everything. And I feel like it's not always the easiest to talk about because not everybody gets it in that way, you know, and wanting your message to be like, you know, relatable.
Yeah.
But I relate to your message so much, and I'm just really appreciative that you guys do this platform. It's so great.
Thank you so much. That means like everything to us. Seriously.
Yeah, for real.
Thank you.
For real.
I love you guys.
We love you too.
Thanks for having me on.
Of
I feel
course.
very lucky right now. I was like, when you guys were like, it's done, I'm like, no.
I know. I'm glad it didn't cut us off.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I'll talk to you soon. Be
Yes.
safe.
Okay.
Bye,
Talk
guys.
soon.
Bye.
Yeah, beautiful, so beautiful. Oh my gosh, I am actually so inspired to like just continue writing.
Yeah,
And
I
just
gotta get
like
to my script.
discipline is such a thing. It's so true. Like as artists, we're just kind of like, you know, go with the flow. Like when I feel inspired, like these things take time, but at the same time, like it's a balance again of like being disciplined and like Asha was saying, just doing it even though you might not think it's perfect at the time. Just doing it is the most important part.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay,
Yeah.
I hope you guys are also inspired.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna hop off now.
All right, it's time to go.
Yes, but we love you guys.
We love you.
This was amazing.
However, take your punk ass in the house. Keep your punk ass in the house. Stay your punk ass in the house.
Yes. So yeah, stay inside because I pray that things are really moving along. You know, in terms of like finding a cure for COVID-19. I'm like consistently praying for the people who are risking their safety and their health in order to help others in need during this time. Anything you can do to connect to others, to show support, show love, you know. Yeah, this is a really special time in history. I thought about that, how like this will literally be a part of history, God willing. But you know, I think things are really moving along with it. I have hope, rejoice in hope always. And yeah, smile, cry if you need to. And yeah, I will check my DMs. Can I greet me? Okay. Hi. Okay. Okay. Wow, that was awkward. So yes, thank you for all your comments and everything. We're gonna after the live like read through these because there's some like beautiful insightful things there.
Oh, bye.
Okay.
You're gonna talk to me?
Okay. Bye guys. Talk soon. Bye.